Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to my Trying a New Makeup Product Everyday series. When I bought this, I was so excited to try it out. It's the COVERGIRL Outlast Extreme Wear 3-in-1 Foundation. And just looking at this, reading the claims on it, it sounds like my perfect foundation. It has full coverage, SPF 18. It is 24-hour wear, sweat-proof, humidity-proof. It's cruelty-free. It says it feels comfortable and lightweight and breathable on the skin. And it has a naturally flawless finish. And it's a primer, concealer, and foundation all in one, which sounds awesome to me. I picked this up in the shade Golden Ivory from Walmart for about $11. But as I'm looking this up online, I'm seeing that it has terrible reviews. And I recently tried out the COVERGIRL Outlast concealer from this same line, and I didn't really like it. So I'm not sure how successful this is going to be, but let's not knock it till we try it, right? The packaging on this is nice. Let's see. Yep, it's got a pump. And we're gonna just go ahead, jump on in. I don't have any primer on, so I mean this is supposed to be the primer in it as well, but we'll see how it is on my skin that is a little bit combination today, a little bit more greasy on like my nose, my forehead, a little bit of dryness that I'm seeing on my chin. I've got a lot of redness in my cheeks, large pores along this area as well. So we'll see how it is on all of that. And I'm just going to go ahead and start out with, let's do maybe one pump onto the back of my hand. Oh wow, this is very liquidy. And it looks very light too, but... And first I'm going to try it out with my dampened beauty sponge, which is typically how I like to apply my liquid foundations. And so, oh, you know what? I do notice kind of like a strong smell to this, like a little bit like a fragrance, but also smells a little bit like skincare. Initially, it's going on pretty nice, pretty lightweight. I'm gonna need probably 2 pumps to do this half of my face, but it's blending out really nicely with the sponge and looking good on the skin so far. But that was an entire pump and only did like a quarter of my face, so picking up another pump here. This does have nice coverage, especially considering how lightweight it is and how thin it is. The coverage is definitely still there. Yeah, it is a little bit too light for me, which is a little bit confusing because I have this in the shade Golden Ivory, and that's the shade that I got my concealer in, and the concealer I thought was like a perfect shade match for my skin. But anyways. I think this is actually looking pretty nice. It's definitely a matte finish, and I can see a little bit of like dryness, a little bit of cakiness, but that's only when I'm looking really up close. It's smoother than I was expecting. I almost feel like this could have the claim of setting powder in it as well, like a 4-in-1, because it really does just kind of look like I've set my skin with a powder, with how matte it is and that slight dryness to it. But like on my chin here where my skin is dry, where I get dry patches, it's not emphasizing the dryness at all. In my large pores here, it is settling into the pores a little bit, and it's still not looking completely full coverage over the redness in my cheeks. So let's see if I can build that up. I feel like it's not building up. I usually don't bring my foundation up to my under eye, but since it's supposed to be a concealer in one, let's see. Yeah, it definitely looks a little bit too drying on my under eye. And I really cannot get it to be that full, complete coverage on my cheek there. So, it's not amazing, but it doesn't look too bad. I was expecting it to look much worse. It's not my favorite foundation, but I think it's definitely wearable. So that ended up taking about a pump and a half to do half of my face with the sponge. I'm going to add another pump here, and on the other side of my face, we'll try it out with a brush just to try something different. But I mean, it looks a little funny right now with half of my face done because of that shade match, but I actually really like how thin and blendable it is. I definitely prefer applying it with the sponge though, because for some reason with this brush, it's just leaving behind a little bit more texture. So I'm going to go over it with the sponge anyways to smooth it over. But I could see, like, if you preferred to apply your foundation with a brush, this is kind of hard to make it look smooth with a brush. Wow, yeah, a lot more cakiness and texture on the side where I applied it with the brush. Even going over it with the sponge, it just looks like two different foundations. The side with the sponge looks so much smoother and more skin-like compared to the side with the brush. That's very interesting, but it's just looking a lot drier, a lot heavier on the skin. I don't like how it looks on this side at all, but I kind of like, especially in comparison, I like how it looks on this side. And it's definitely creasing too, where I tried to use it as a concealer. So like on fine lines, it's gonna settle in. Yeah, it's not giving the coverage that I want. Like there's some like redness on my nose and my cheeks that I just cannot get it to cover up. And definitely not good for dry skin. It's better on the oilier areas, but definitely need to use the sponge to apply this. And the shade match is like really throwing me off because in the packaging this should be a pretty good shade match for me, but on my face it's a lot lighter. So I don't think this is awful, but it's not going to be my go-to favorite foundation. If you've tried this out, I'm so curious to hear in the comments down below how it worked for your skin type, how it worked with the different techniques that you use to apply it, because this foundation I feel like is going to look so different on everyone, and no matter what tools you use, like even on my same face, it looks so different in all the different areas. Like this part of my cheek looks pretty good, but then this part of my cheek on the other side looks pretty cakey. So overall, I think I'm going to have to pass on this, but if it works for your skin type, it could actually be a really nice foundation. So thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.